Hello everyone, my name is Shahab Geravesh and I have been working in security for more than 10 years. This lecture is about Domain 2 of the CPP exam, Business Principles and Practices. This domain teaches us how to manage security operations just like any business function. That means knowing your budget, your people, your policies, and how to keep everything aligned with your company's overall goals. If you're prepping for the exam or already in a leadership role, this session will give you practical and test-ready insights. This content is independently created and is not affiliated with, endorsed by, or sponsored by ASIS International. All ASIS-related materials, including the Certified Protection Professional Certification and Protection of Assets reference materials, are the intellectual property of ASIS International. This material is for educational purposes only. The creator of this content does not guarantee that you will pass the CPP exam or that you will be eligible to sit for the exam. Viewers are responsible for verifying their own exam eligibility and preparation through ASIS International. No liability is accepted for any exam outcomes. By the end of this session, you'll be confident in handling the business side of security. We'll talk about things like setting up a budget, hiring and managing staff, building policies, and making sure your security program fits into the company's larger goals. For example, you'll understand how to justify a $10,000 investment in new access control by comparing it to a potential $100,000 lawsuit from a breach. Security is more than just guards and gates. It's a business function. Your security team needs to work hand in hand with HR, finance, legal, and operations. Why? Because security decisions affect them, and they affect security. For example, HR may need help investigating workplace issues, or legal may need access control documentation for a case. Also, we need to justify our budgets with real value, how security prevents loss, protects brand reputation, and enables safe business growth. This slide is about money. Every security leader needs to understand budgeting. Capital budgets are for large, one-time investments like surveillance systems or access control installations. Operating budgets are for daily expenses like guard wages, equipment maintenance, and supplies. When requesting funds, explain both the risk of not investing and the benefit of the proposed solution. Account for the full life cycle cost, not just the price to buy something, but also to maintain or replace it later. Let's break down key financial metrics. Return on investment, or ROI, measures how much you get back compared to what you spent. For example, if you spend $10,000 and save $20,000 in loss prevention, your return is 100%. Return on equity shows profit generated with money. It's calculated by dividing net income by shareholder equity. Return on assets measures company assets to make profit, net income by total assets. Earnings per share is used for public companies. It profit share of stock by dividing net income by the number of shares. The price to earnings ratio is a valuation metric, dividing the price of a share by its earnings per share. The quick ratio tests. If a company can pay short-term debts using assets inventory from current assets, then by current liabilities. The debt-to-income ratio, or DTI, shows what portion of monthly income goes toward debt. You calculate it by dividing total monthly debt payments by gross monthly income. Cost reduction means cutting expenses, like replacing paper logbooks with digital tablets. Cost avoidance means preventing future costs, like installing badge readers now to avoid losses later from unauthorized access. WAECUP stands for Waste, Accidents, Errors, Crime, and Unethical Practices. It asks, what essential capabilities must be in place to prevent these things? It helps you focus your planning around what really matters. SWOT stands for Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats. It's a classic tool to evaluate your team, program, or project. The STEP model, which stands for Social, Technological, Economic, and Political, helps you think about outside factors that might influence your decisions. For example, new privacy laws or changes in the economy. Let's now look at financial statements. The income statement, also called the profit and loss (P&L) statement, shows how much money the department made or lost over a certain period. It tracks revenue, expenses, and net profit. For example, your department might have $500,000 in operating budget, of which $400,000 goes to salaries and $50,000 to equipment, leaving you with $50,000 of unallocated funds. The balance sheet gives you a snapshot of your department's financial position at a specific point in time. It includes assets like equipment, liabilities like vendor payments owed, and equity, the value retained in the organization. While more common for entire companies, understanding it helps you speak the same language with your finance team. When audits come around, whether internal or by a third party, you want to be organized, transparent, and compliant. Auditors will ask for documentation of your purchases, contracts, and approvals. If your records are clean, the audit will be painless and can even build your reputation with leadership. Imagine your team manages multiple vendor contracts. Without controls, someone could approve fake invoices, set rules like dual approval for payments above $5,000 or quarterly reviews of all purchases. Be familiar with reports like the P&L. Know how much you're spending, on what, and whether you're over or under budget. When audit season comes, you'll have your books clean and ready. A policy sets the what, like what behavior is expected. Procedures explain how to carry out the policy. Plans are detailed strategies for specific situations, and directives are formal instructions, usually from senior leadership. Every policy should go through a full life cycle. Drafting, getting feedback, approvals, training people on it, monitoring compliance, and updating it when needed. And don't build policies in a vacuum. Loop in other departments for a stronger, more practical result. Say your facility has a no tailgating policy for badge access. The policy states it clearly. The procedure explains that employees must badge in one at a time. The plan might outline what to do if tailgating becomes common, and a directive might come from leadership reinforcing this after an incident. Make sure legal, HR, and IT all review the draft before rolling it out. Security doesn't exist in a legal bubble. We need to comply with a range of laws, some obvious, some not. For example, if you're using surveillance, you better know privacy regulations like GDPR. Hiring guards, labor laws, and wage rules apply. OSHA governs workplace safety. If you're pulling credit reports on employees or applicants, you must follow FCRA. Know the laws, document your compliance, and train your team to avoid liabilities. Let's say you've got CCTV cameras in the break room. Well-intentioned, right? But in many places, that could violate privacy laws. Under GDPR, you'd need signage, consent, and a lawful basis. Or let's say your guards work 60-hour weeks. Now you're looking at wage violations under labor law. Real-world compliance matters, and mistakes can cost you in fines, lawsuits, or both. Security isn't reactive. It should be measurable. You can't improve what you don't track. Start with basic KPIs. How many incidents are happening? How fast are you responding? Are people finishing their required training? Then take that data to make smart changes. Add patrols to a hotspot, or streamline training if completion is low. This also helps you show leadership the value security brings to the organization. If your site has 12 security incidents a month and that drops to 3 after adding patrols, that's a strong metric. Or maybe training completion is only at 40%. That's a red flag. Use those numbers to justify staffing, process changes, or new tech. Metrics help you make informed decisions and demonstrate progress to leadership. Hiring the right people is critical. Start by defining the role clearly. What skills and experience do you need? Then recruit in a way that reaches good candidates. Use structured interviews, background checks, and reference verification. Decide if you'll use internal staff or contract officers. Each has pros and cons. Internal means more control, but higher cost. Contracting can be flexible, but you need to manage vendor quality. Hiring a new GSOC analyst, start by identifying the specific skills, CCTV monitoring, report writing, communication, then post your job to industry boards. Use structured interviews. Ask, tell me about a time you handled an emergency, rather than just, do you have experience? For contract guards, Make sure the vendor complies with licensing laws and has a solid training program. Your team needs to be sharp. That means a strong onboarding process, clear expectations, site orientation, and policy reviews. After that, offer ongoing training, yearly refreshers, scenario-based drills, and on-demand courses. Encourage certifications like CPP for career growth. Also, think long-term. Who are your future supervisors or managers? Build a pipeline so you're not scrambling when someone leaves. When someone new joins, walk them through your emergency response plan, your post orders, and your reporting systems. Later, hold refresher training. You might run a tabletop drill for fire evacuation or active shooter response. Encourage your officers to pursue CPP or PSP certification. It's good for them and great for the program. And always know who's ready for the next leadership role. Let's say you set a goal for a supervisor. Reduce incident report submission time to under 12 hours by next quarter. That's a SMART goal. It's specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. During monthly check-ins, review progress and coach if needed. If someone's struggling, document it and try corrective action. Don't wait until annual review time. Address it early, fairly, and constructively. As a security leader, your ethics set the tone. Follow the ASIS Code of Ethics: honesty, legality, professionalism. Create an environment where people feel safe reporting issues. That includes having a whistleblower policy and protecting those who use it. Also, build a culture where security is part of everyone's job, not just the guards. That's how you move from compliance to true commitment. Let's say someone on your team reports a fellow guard sleeping on duty. If you ignore it, the message is, don't bother reporting. If you act, but also support the whistleblower, you build trust. Refer to the ASIS Code of Ethics often. Promote things like badge compliance and incident reporting not with fear, but as shared responsibility for everyone's safety. Let's say your company is opening a new office downtown. You do a walkthrough and notice the lobby has no access control. The garage is open to the public and there's no surveillance. You propose installing a badge system, a camera network, and hiring an evening guard. You draft a budget, $20K upfront for equipment, $5K a month for staffing. Then you pitch it to leadership by explaining the risk of theft or unauthorized access and how your plan reduces those risks. Make it clear, data-backed, and tied to business continuity. You're tasked with securing a new branch. During your assessment, you identify that the location lacks an alarm system, has poor lighting in the parking lot, and no visitor tracking. You propose a $30K budget, $10K for alarms, $5K for lighting, $15K for a visitor management system. You tie each expense to risk mitigation, like reducing liability for parking lot assaults. You build a slide deck and present the plan to the CFO. Because you tied costs to real outcomes, it gets approved. To wrap up, security leaders need to think like business leaders. Know your numbers, your people, your risks, and how to speak to your leadership team in their language. Always tie your plans to business strategy. Use data to make your case. And most of all, foster a culture where security is everyone's business. Think like a business leader. Know what your department costs, what it prevents, and how it supports the company. Use metrics, policies, and training to improve performance. And never lose sight of the people. You need their trust and buy-in to build a resilient, security-conscious organization. That's it for Domain 2. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I try to answer everyone. If you found this helpful, give it a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next domains. Also, I have a flashcard app on App Store for CPP exam. Go to App Store and search Shahab Geravesh. Then download ASIS CPP Exam Prep and Flashcard app. I'll leave the link in the description. Thanks for watching and good luck on your CPP journey.